On the Good Morning Artesia radio show. The Barking Guy's here. How you doing?
Doing fine. How are you, Gene?
Oh, man, it's a Monday. I was sitting here. I printed out my sample ballot. This is my sample ballot for me, so it's based on my voter registration information, which I have not moved, and I've not made any other changes. But for those people who are either not registered or maybe have moved or there's been a change in their location, which would affect which precincts and districts they're in, you need to get registered or have your registration updated by tomorrow, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And I know
Chamber can do it.
Chamber can do it. I got a note from Jessica that they are open today. So if you need to get that done. Now, what you can do is you can go online to the Secretary of State's website. That's what I did. My thumb got in the way of the camera. And I went to, it's voter, let's see if this is right. Yes. Okay, so it's sos.state.nm.us. And then you're going to look for voter information portal. And then once you find the voter information portal, here's the general election candidate list. Here's the button you click or the box you click if you need to register to vote. And then there's a box for find my registration and election information. And if you've already registered in New Mexico previously, that's the box that you check. And then once you've done that, up comes your general information, and it will tell you what districts you're in. It'll have your address where you're registered to vote, or address that you used when you registered to vote. And then it'll have your status. It'll have your status reason. It'll have your party. It'll have your precinct. And then, for example, congressional district. I live in Artesia. My congressional district is District 3. My conservancy district is CD5. My counselor is District 3. My county commissioner is District 3. So all that information is up there for you, and I think you have to have your name, the date of birth, the name that you're registered under, of course,
Yeah.
your date of birth, and the county that you reside in.
Yep.
And then all of that information will come up for you. And then with the election set, the candidates are set on the election for the November election, you can click on My Sample Ballot, which is what I did. And I even printed it. I have my sample ballot. This is what my ballot's going to be. So I think it's a good idea to do that, to start studying some of the races that you'll get to pick candidates for, and then any of the constitutional amendments and bond issues.
That's right.
Because that will also appear on your sample ballot.
Yep. And vote that too.
Exactly.
Don't just vote for governor and forget it. Vote down the ballot and vote on the constitutional amendments and the bond issues.
That's right. There is a constitutional amendment proposing an amendment to Article 12, Section 7 to provide for additional annual distributions of the Permanent School Fund for enhanced instruction for students at risk of failure, extending the school year, teacher compensation, and early childhood education, requiring congressional approval for distributions for early childhood education.
Yep, that's the one that raids the permanent fund.
That raids the permanent fund. So I know how I'm voting on that one right there. Okay. Constitutional Amendment 2, proposing to amend Article 9, Section 14 of the Constitution of New Mexico to allow public investment to provide access to essential household services, including internet, energy, water, wastewater, and other similar services as provided by law upon the enactment of general implementing legislation by a majority vote of the members elected to each house of the legislature. What on earth is this for?
What that does is weaken the anti-donation clause.
Public investment to provide access to essential household services?
Yeah, what that does is the anti-donation clause prohibits the state from doing that.
Okay.
That will make an exception to the anti-donation clause, so it allows for that.
Well, it has to have a majority vote of each house in order to be enacted, whatever it is that they're going to spend the money on.
Yes, but
Okay.
but it still weakens the anti-donation clause.
Constitutional Amendment 3, proposing to amend Article 6, Section 35 of the Constitution of New Mexico to provide that an appointed judge serve at least 1 year before a general election is held for the office to which the judge was appointed. So, say, for example, you had somebody that passed away or left office in, say, June of this year,
That's right.
and the governor appoints somebody to fill out that term. That judge immediately has to run for retention
For election.
for the election in that seat. So this says they get to be in there at least a year before that can happen.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. But there's 3 amendments to the Constitution.
3 amendments to the Constitution.
Then there's there's bond question 1, bond 2, bond 3. So there's 3 bond questions that
Yep.
are on there. Bond 1 is usually the general obligation bond. That's for the
Senior centers.
senior centers and stuff. That usually passes. The Capital Projects General Obligation Bond Act, that's number 2.
It's probably for the libraries.
That's for academic, public school, tribal, and public library resources. Those usually pass. And then the 3 is the higher education schools and tribal schools.
That's right.
So those are the 3 bond questions. Senior
right.
centers,
Libraries.
libraries,
And
and
school-
and
colleges.
colleges. Libraries and schools and colleges are the bond questions. I hesitate to jump in on constitutional amendments because I figure, depending on the party in power, they're trying to make it legal to do something that they haven't been able to do in the past. But so, that's kind of what's going on here. You've got state auditor, state treasurer, commissioner of public lands. You have state representative. For me, is District 66.
Okay,
Depends on where you live, of course.
yeah, that's Jimmy Mason.
In District 66, running against
Yeah,
Andrew Kennedy. Then you have Justice of the Supreme Court, Position 1, Justice of the Supreme Court, Position 2. Judge of the Court of Appeals, Position 1, Judge of the Court of Appeals, Position 2.
That's right.
District Court Judge, and it looks like there's, for me, there are Division 1 and Division 12.
That's right. Division 1, there is a race.
Right.
There's a contested race in Division 1.
Magistrate Judge is on the ballot for me, Division 3.
Yeah, that's Jimmy Foster.
County Clerk, and there's only one candidate for County
Yeah,
Clerk.
that's Kara Cook.
County Assessor, there's only one name on the ballot for County Assessor.
Yeah.
And then the Probate Judge, there's one name for
Yeah,
Probate
Jay
Judge.
Francis.
And then there's 2 judicial retentions on the ballot. Shall Michael E. Vigil be retained as Justice of the Supreme Court? Shall Jane B. Yolam be retained as Judge of the Court of Appeals? Now, my question for Michael E. Vigil is on all of the challenges to the governor's health orders and
Yeah.
the business restrictions and all the other kind of stuff. How did Vigil vote? Do we know? Is that information available?
Yeah, they voted to support the governor.
Oh, I understand that, but
All
was
of
it
them.
unanimous?
I believe so.
So this gentleman voted for the governor's, for the governor and all these legal challenges?
I believe so.
Okay. See, but these are some of the things that you need to know so that you can formulate your opinion and how you're going to vote in these particular elections. And so that you can fill out your ballot. And the time to do the research is now,
Yep.
before you go and vote. the high-profile races, people may have decided, I know who I'm voting for governor. I know who I'm voting for Congress. Okay? That's a given. But these constitutional amendments and these down-ballot races, like, do you want to retain Michael E. Vigil, Justice of the Supreme Court? How has he voted on issues that are important to you that have come before the New Mexico Supreme Court? You need to know.
That's right.
You may agree with the decisions that he voted on. You may disagree with the decisions that he voted on, the cases that he voted on. But if you don't know and don't do the research, you're either not going to vote or you're going to make a uninformed vote on that. In other words, you're not going to vote for that. You know, you don't have to fill out a circle in every race that's on the ballot. But how does not voting help or hurt the cause, if you will? And so it's the same thing with the Supreme Court judge retention. How has this judge voted when cases that you find of importance and interest have come before the New Mexico Supreme Court? Have you supported the case? Have you supported the decisions that the judge has made? Then you need to vote to retain him. But if there's decisions that he's been making and you're going, that's crazy, then you need to vote not to retain him. But you need to know before you go in and vote. Does that sound like a common sense thing to?
Yes.
Okay. So it's another reason to go online and print out your ballot. And so you can start the process now before you go in and vote, whether it's early absentee or early voting or absentee voting or in-person voting.
That's right.
That's coming up. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to fill out my ballot. It's going to be sitting up here in the if anybody needs any help. But there's things on here I can't vote for yet because I need to know more about what's going on. You know? But then again, there's other factors that you look at, like a lot of people look at party affiliation. They don't necessarily learn about the candidates individually, but they vote based on the party affiliation. Now, you can't straight party vote in New Mexico. That was taken away. I don't know if taken away is the proper term. They eliminated that years ago. So you can't, there's not a box that says I vote for all Republican or I vote for all Democrat. That does not exist on the ballot. So you do have to go race by race, category by category, and either choose to vote, pick one of the candidates that's listed, or choose not to vote. What's interesting is there's a guy running for Commissioner of Public Lands that's running as a write-in.
Yes.
And on that race, there's a third option for write-in. And I'm wondering, I guess that's a function of how it's put together. If there isn't a certified write-in candidate for that race, then they don't put that option on the ballot. But what would be interesting is if the write-in candidate option was on all the races, and you get to the governor's race, and this could be good, this could be bad. So if you get to the governor's race, and you've got Karen Yvette Bedoni, is that right?
Yeah.
Bedoni, Mark V. Ronchetti, and Michelle Lujan Grisham, and then write-in candidate for governor, you wonder if enough people wrote the same name. How would you like to be one of these three candidates and come in behind Mickey Mouse? Wouldn't that be funny? I finished fourth in a three-person race. I finished behind Goofy. So, anyway, Barking Guy's here, and let's see. Let's do the weather.
Okay.
We'll talk Kith and Kin, and then we'll get back into your report. Is that okay?
All right.
All right. Hang on here. Is it gonna rain today?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Low pressure over western Texas and southern New Mexico, and a lot of moist air available, so scattered showers and thunderstorms coming up for us today. It'll be cloudy, and that'll keep our afternoon high in the low 70s. Some showers and thunderstorms continuing overnight, and will drop to about 55, and then high pressure takes over the weather pattern on Tuesday, upper 70s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
That's one place to research. Barking Guy was telling me off air that if you want to learn about the constitutional amendments, there's a lot of places you can go to. What's the one that you said that does
New
some...
Mexico Business Coalition, or Better Together New Mexico.
Okay, they have an analysis of the amendments that,
Yes.
that you can review if you'd like. Let's see here. I sent out a picture of Jerry Jones adjusting his pants. See that? To my Cowboys friends, you know, they're doing pretty good. Cowboys are doing pretty good right now. They won again yesterday. They beat the L.A. Rams, which I believe won the Super Bowl last year. So they beat the defending Super Bowl champ L.A. Rams. They lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, corn farmers. Let's see. I have people telling me when they're going to be on the radio. It doesn't work that way.
No.
What was I looking up? What were we talking about? I forget what we were talking about.
Voting.
Voting and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Kith and Kin is our breakfast sponsor for today. Let's see what we have. It smells good. Did you smell that when Tana brought it in? Yeah, I smell breakfast sandwiches here. I smell goodness. I smell sausage. You know what? If you want to make sure you don't have COVID, go into Kith and Kin and just go. See, I have napkins, heavy-duty napkins here, which we're going to need, and a thank you sack, which I'm going to recommend that we get a bunch of these and put them in our trailers, and that way when the rain is out and things leak, I don't get panicked call from electrified DJs saying it's raining in here and I don't know how to keep stuff dry. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, look at this. A ham croissant. Doesn't that look wonderful?
Yes.
Let me hold that up to the camera there. So Jeffrey, I don't know if you want to go to ISO on me so you can show that. Maybe not. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious there? Okay, let's try another one here. Oh, bacon and cheese on a hoagie. Look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that bacon. It's thick bacon, you know, not that cheap stuff that you get at like some places. Big, thick slabs of bacon. Yes. Oh, look at
Turkey.
this. Bagel, turkey, and cheese. Hold that one up to the camera there. Smells wonderful there, Barking Guy. You're going to have a tough time trying to decide what to get, aren't you?
Yeah.
And is this the sausage? Yes.
Probably is.
Yep, there's the sausage on the green chili bun. This one is not getting out for anybody. I'm setting this aside for me. Or do you want half of this one?
No, you can have it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. There's that one there. Kith and Kin, there's a lot of great breakfast sandwiches. You can get a lot of fast food breakfast sandwiches. No question about it. But if you want a real gourmet breakfast, those are shareables, by the way.
Yep.
That's, you know, some places you go and you get a little thing and you go, I'm still hungry. That's not enough. I need more. These, you're going to eat, you can't eat them all in one setting. You have to bring somebody with you or have breakfast for the next couple of days. So go get some of these delicious, they've got the hoagies, they've got the bagels, they've got the croissants, they've got the ham, the cheese, the bacon, the sausage. Get your breakfast sandwiches at Kith and Kin. You're a big fan of Kith and Kin, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, so there you go. All right, where were we? We were talking about elections, voting, voter registration.
Yep, and voting in conjunction with football.
There you go. Is that where we need to continue?
Yep.
All right.
Remember, Artesia versus Roswell, Goddard versus Mayfield, and Nimmy versus Dexter this week. And registration, go to the chamber. You know, they can register you.
Today.
Yep.
They're open today.
Let's see, events that I know of. Art in the Park. You can't vote Saturday, but you can vote Friday before you go.
Okay.
This week in Old Time Radio history. October the 11th, Eleanor Roosevelt was born in 1884. October the 12th, Mr. Keen, Tracer of Lost Persons, premiered in 1937. October the 14th, Dwight D. Eisenhower, 34th President of the U.S., 1953 to 61, was born in 1890. Benita Hume was born in 1906. Lux Radio Theater premiered in 1934. And I got some radio quotes for the week.
All right.
There are headstones in the cemetery of young people.
This is true. This must have been a talk about fentanyl, drugs.
Uh-huh. Nancy Husselman.
Nancy Husselman, that's right. Yes. See, DWIs and so
Yep.
forth. Yep.
We pay the cost for bad policies that happened years ago.
John Henry?
Yep.
All right. All right. I remember him saying that.
We have got to end the dependence on countries that do not share our interests.
Mike Pence.
Yep.
All right. That was
About
from
oil
his,
and gas.
opening statements. Yep.
Do not vote for one Democrat anywhere.
It could have been anybody.
Hugh Hewitt.
Hugh Hewitt. Okay. Oh, I'm glad Hewitt said that.
I just want people to vote their self-interest this November.
Well, that's true. If they did and not vote for what the party tells them to vote for or what the group think or the media or whatever, who would have said that?
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly. Okay.
He was a guest on Sean Hannity's.
He's kind of a frequent guest on Sean Hannity.
And he said, I think he's referring to the economy, the border, and crime.
Those should be the big motivating factors for people in the election, in my opinion.
Yep. Here's another one.
All right.
Cost plus COVID.
Ooh. Lou Dobbs?
Nope.
Mark Levin.
Nope. Clay and Buck.
Clay and Buck. Cost plus COVID. Yeah. Well,
About the population decline in California.
yeah. Oh, my gosh. And I think, I can't remember, is New Mexico suffering a loss too? Or have we benefited from California being total idiots?
I think we have declined some, but not enough to decrease the electoral votes.
No. That it did affect California.
It did affect California.
They lost some House seats.
They did.
In the realignment there.
And I've got the calendar.
All right, let's do the calendar.
Today, Monday the 10th, Indigenous Peoples Day in New Mexico, Columbus Day federally, no school in Artesia. There is school in Lake Arthur.
Okay.
October the 11th, tomorrow, marching contest, Lake Arthur volleyball versus Floyd.
Good old Floyd.
4:30 for the
And then he'll cut your hair.
4:30 for the middle school and 5:30 for the high school. Junior high 8th grade Orange football versus Mountain View, 4 p.m. Thursday the 13th, Lake Arthur Middle School football versus Dora, 4 p.m. Lake Arthur volleyball versus Elida, 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. Middle school first, then high school. Boys soccer at Lovington, 4 and 6, JV first and varsity. Girls soccer versus Lovington, 4 and 6. JV and varsity volleyball versus Alamogordo, 5:30 and 6:30. Junior high, 9th grade orange football versus Carlsbad, 4 p.m. Friday the 14th, Bulldog football versus Roswell. This is the biggie, 7 p.m. Can vote in conjunction with Bulldog football. Polls close at 5 o'clock. And then get your tailgate and then go into the bowl.
You can economize your travel on Friday.
That's right.
You go vote, you go eat, you go cheer.
That's right.
In that order.
That's right.
Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah. Vote, eat, cheer.
That's right.
That'll be our version of eat, drink, smoke. Call it vote, eat, cheer.
Vote, eat, cheer.
Mm-hmm.
And Saturday the 15th, band cakewalk, art in the park at J.C. Park.
Mm-hmm.
Rodeo at Las Cruces through Sunday. Varsity girls soccer versus Portales, 12 o'clock. And cross country at Albuquerque Academy, 10 a.m.
Maybe they can find all the stolen trucks and trailers from the balloon fiesta while they're out running through the countryside.
Yeah.
Isn't that terrible? Have you seen some of that? Lana's told me some of the stories. Some of these balloon teams, they've broken into and stolen their trailers and their balloons and their memorabilia and stuff like that. It's crazy. Albuquerque's crazy.
It is crazy. And,
Yeah.
I had my truck broken into
Yeah.
several years ago, and I don't go to Albuquerque.
Big Nate had his broken into, not on one of his recent trips up to Albuquerque.
Just no good. Yeah.
It's way too frequent, and there's no sense of urgency on the part of anybody in authority to try to remove these people from the streets of Albuquerque. So they just run around
Yep.
and steal things, break things, steal things. It's terrible, terrible,
Yep.
terrible.
It is terrible.
Yeah. So what's next on your list?
We got it all in.
We got it all in. Okay. So Monday Night Football tonight. Youth
Monday Night
Recreation
Football tonight.
Football, yeah. We'll see what happens tonight. I'm not sure. I have no idea who's playing who. There's 4 teams in the tackle football, 5th and 6th grade division.
Yep.
And so they're going to play each other one time, kind of like our football district. And so they'll do a first round and then they'll do a second round. So after 6 weeks, that they'll have the everybody will have played each other twice. And so last week it was the Kraken and the Young Guns, and then the Tigers and the Future Bulldogs. So I'm not sure who's, how they're matching them up tonight. But should be interesting to see. And if you can't make it, it's going to be on. It'll be on the TV tonight.
Yep, on TV.
Bradley's riding up in the bucket truck.
Uh-huh.
He'll be up amongst the bugs. So, and Joby and Louie will be, they brought out a little platform for him to set up on. So, that'll be pretty cool.
Yep.
It'll be pretty cool. All right, barking guys, is there anything else we need to cover today?
Go Dogs. Arf.
And go register to vote.
Go register to vote. If
Yep.
you have not registered, go do it today. Chamber is open. I can even register you.
I got a note. You can go by Benny's. I think
And
there's
Benny's.
a registrar there too, so you can get registered to vote at, any
Yep.
one of those ways.
That's right.
All right, thank you, barking guy.
You're welcome.
Enjoy. Have you picked out a sandwich yet? You're thinking about it right
Thinking
now.
about it.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go get some of that coffee because this cup is